It is time. It's time.
My voice just cracked. We are back.
Hello.
Finally.
If you're interested in Call of Duty, guess who's got a little bit of that for you here?
Me.
We do. We got some drift
Myself.
hardpoint. Denial
Fox.
versus VQ. I'm sorry, I'm talking over you right now. I can't even hear you.
It's all right. All you need to know is that we're back. We're hopping into the game. Drift hardpoint game number 1. This took forever to get started, but honestly, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
They're just building suspense, dude.
Drift hardpoint coming up. You got the VQ squad. You said you had some slight roster mishaps earlier on when you were talking about them, Fox. What was the update you had?
Yeah, I said that it was Profizi and I believe Reviction that I said were on this roster for a long time, but I was wrong. It's actually Profizi and Pemby that have been teaming together for actually a very long time. So I apologize for that mix-up. This VQ roster was actually starting off pretty well. 10 seconds in the lead. Slash was really the only thing doing for Denial, so let's just see how they perform.
Off the start, pretty flawless in all aspects of it. Profizi winning his gunfights inside the hill, taking down Hook. Things you got to remember. This Denial squad hasn't been able to play for, what, the last hour and a half? They've just kind of been waiting around for their next matchup. VQ just finished a short while ago. The bracket finally updated, and now they are into the game. I'm on board with Hook. 0-4 off the start. He's played electric all day long. We'll see if he can keep that up here in semifinal number 2.
Yeah, he absolutely has. I think really the only game where you could possibly say he was a little off might have been that Detroit S&D where they almost got 6-0'd. Other than that, Hook has absolutely been on fire today. So I'm actually looking at Profizi. He's getting tagged up a little bit. Let's see if he can keep the rest of that scrap time. That he will, and the rotation is coming in. No one seems to be looking in his direction to take him out, but just as he starts to fire, that's going to be Replays that shuts him down.
Replays is in a power position, top security. Spots 2 players waiting to push in. Picks up 1. Grabs the second as well as they began to run towards that side of the map. He's just going to rotate back towards security. Hasn't spotted anyone yet outside of tourism. Now 2 players pushing through middle cuts. What was a 35-second lead is now down to just 16 seconds, and Replays gets EMP'd. That's something to watch out for the rest of the game now. How often does this VQ squad use the EMP tactical grenade?
Profizi rushing into the hill here with the sub in hand. Just 2 players in his way, shuts them both down. It's almost like they don't see Profizi when he's making his move with this sub. I've seen him a lot just firing and no one's ever there to, like, you know, trade the kill. Everyone just kind of forgets about him. So you got to wonder, is it denial communication? It might be lacking a little bit here or what, but Hoop is going to get a couple of entry kills right there on the hill before he falls.
You know, that player is quite Profizi with that submachine gun.
Good one, Jack.
That was one of my worst puns ever, and I don't even care because we got a game going down right now. 25-second lead. Denial getting shut down on all fronts. Things I need to see change. 1, Hoop needs to begin to step it up. 3-11, not going to cut it for how much of a role he plays on this team. 2, Denial are just getting destroyed time and time again while inside the hard point. They're not actually winning their gunfights in the objective when it matters most, and that's why currently VQ has doubled their score.
Absolutely, and we see Demise here coming through from the carousel, picking up a big kill in the window, but he could not get the second, as that's going to be Slasher that takes him out. So I actually want to give Slasher some attention. Very solid AR player. We expect him to be in a lot of positions to get some amazing kills, usually on the cut, just, you know, being that player to hold those choke points for his team, but unfortunately he's going to die out in the middle of the map. Replays, still holding it down in the hill, bringing Denial back into this game.
And as I mentioned, that Denial need to get kills inside the hard point. Replays, gets inside the hill, goes on a 5 streak, and now look at the score. They're down by 1 second. They're going to rotate here towards the back station area. Early control going over to VQ. Slasher's the last alive. He gets cut down. A beautiful 3-piece from Radix. 4 dead, 4 Denial, and Radix continues to slay out the Denial roster.
Yeah, I was going to give Radix some attention there, but going on his 4-kill streak, he's finally going to go down, awarding his team some solid time on the hill. Profizi still has not had to see too much action here, but he's going to see some soon as Replays comes in, gets stopped by Profizi, who is now, again, just going on a long bit of time of being uncontested. A beautiful hold out of VQ at the moment. 35-second lead and growing. Denial has yet to get 1 point on this station hard point. Continuing to try to flood it, but perfect setup at the moment. They're now going to go in for 1 final break. They get that held down. 50 seconds now separating these 2 teams. Pretty dominant performance there on the station hardpoint. All right, and look, all 4 players of Denial rotating. Even though Pemby was lighting one up in the back, he knew he didn't need to worry about challenging that gunfight. He would just give the opponent a good spawn if he were even able to get the kill. So great heads-up play by the Denial player to move along here. Profizi trying to make something happen, but he's going to be shut down by Temp, who then picks up a two-piece on Pemby.
Slasher trying to rotate down. His back snow straight. Pemby is able to pick up the kill. The three-man push coming from the street side, one coming from the mid-cuts flank. Replays wins 2 gunfights there. He's got one last player challenging inside the hard point. Runs out of ammo, trying to stay alive. The avalanche begins to come in. Profizi has done all he can to stay alive in the hill, but finally he gets cut down.
All right, and there it is, avalanche coming into play. You're seeing all the players move away from that hill, except for the one in the hill. That's going to be Slasher. He is protected good and well by those walls, but Radix is going to come in, trying to get some hill time for his team. Currently 13-5. He went on a 5-kill streak earlier, so I'm expecting to see him put on a show again later on in the hill as we wrap back to the start, guys. The hill rotation starting all over again. And here we are, still an incredibly close game. VQ has been leading for quite some time now, though.
VQ has done a great job of holding onto their lead so far in this game. Hook is inside the hard point. He's almost double negative at the moment, Fox. Something you really can never say for such an outstanding player like himself. Maybe this is just one of his games where he's just lagging a little bit behind, not feeling the best on his connection. We'll see if he's able to pick things up on the second half. His squad is going to need him. VQ doing a fantastic job. You gotta give a shout out really to Profizi. 22 and 16, 6 captures. You mentioned it earlier that he's doing a fantastic job of picking up 2 pieces and then somehow staying alive inside the hill. There's the entry kill. On replays, he gets the help from Demise, and the trade's going in favor of VQ yet again.
All right, there it is, Pemby taking Profizi's place in the hill. Usually you want someone like Profizi in the hill, very strong sub player. Loses the gunfight to Hoop right there, though, so Hoop should be able to make a difference on this hill here, but there it is, the rotation coming in. Replays was the one to get the scrap time, so Hoop and Replays are already there on the early rotation.
4 players fall for VQ. The early rotation in favor of Denial. 10 seconds separating these two teams. If you are just tuning in, this is game number 1 of the lower half of the bracket semifinals. Obviously, single elimination, so it doesn't mean that they're in the loser's bracket. It just means that the top half of the bracket is FaZe going up against the Killa squad over there. I believe that's XGN that's playing.
Yes, it is XGN.
So we'll see how that team winds up performing up against FaZe with Scump as they're filling for Attach. I gotta say, you gotta favor FaZe in that series to make it to the finals.
Yeah, I think most people would favor FaZe in that matchup, but we will see how it carries out. But back on board with VQ versus Denial here. Scrap time going in favor of VQ. That's going to be Profizi staying behind for it, as it looks like all the Denial roster setting up for the rotation. Slasher was there watching the cut middle map, but he wasn't able to get anything going as Demise shuts him down. Now it's Replays trying to make some magic happen. Slasher off the respawn is able to finish the kill.
Profizi gets killed by the stun grenade inside the hard point. This is where Denial mounted their comeback on side number 1, realistically because of Replays going off. He did it yet again right there with the 2-piece inside the hill with the AR. Gonna be up to his squad to hold down this middle map area. Slasher's doing all he can, but Radix is able to take him down. 20 seconds separating these two teams. The break coming out of VQ, a beautiful job continuing to lead this game number 1.
Yeah, throughout this entire map, guys, if you're just tuning in, VQ has been leading. I mean, we've seen Denial catch up over and over and over again, but VQ is just able to take that lead and make it even bigger. Now we're seeing Temp and Hoop trying to make a difference here, get this bit of scrap time. Hoop is going to get the 2-piece that allows them to do it. They are rewarded with that last bit of about 12 seconds as the rest of the Denial squad seems to be rotating for the new hill, but they have to face an entirely set up VQ roster, Courage.
Hook was 11 and 22 to start this game, now 24 and 29. Since then, make it 25 and 29. Since then, he's got 14 and 7, double positive, and it's beginning to reflect in the score. A flawless break from Denial. Another push coming from the bottom security area gets shut down by the hands of Replays. 15 seconds separating these two teams. The Wolfpack beginning to surge back into this game number 1.
Here it is, Pemby jumping in the hill, tagged up, so that's going to be an easy kill for Hook, and now they should be having some solid control of this hill, mounting the comeback. Now, it depends on how well they play this. We see Radix coming in with the 2-piece. Can he stay alive?
Oh my God!
VQ actually took a ton of time on this hill last time, so can Denial answer back doing the same?
Radix just used Game Breaker or something to stay alive there, right outside the bottom office area. Hook jumping around, doing all he can to distract the player inside the hard point, and as we head into our final hill, it's going to be all, well, 1 point difference between these two teams. The full control going to VQ, but the 4-man push from all different angles coming from Denial. The first 3 kills in their favor. Radix is last alive. Shots going down. He's trying to stay alive. Hook takes him out. 2-11 to 2-10. Denial finally in the lead. Can they hold on, though, in the final 30 seconds?
Luke up in a tough corner to hit. He's getting challenged by one VQ player who he shuts down, but he's instantly traded. Still, the kill feed is dominated by Denial. Profeezy puts an end to that, but again, Slasher shuts him down. It looks like Denial is going to get this comeback, and they're going to get the win here, Courage, as it becomes mathematically impossible for VQ to win. Denial answered back so well on that station hardpoint.
Mook is my dad, man.
VQ had almost 60 seconds uncontested on that hill. Denial, the next time they got on the hill, had at least 40 to 50 seconds. And that's what the difference maker was. Guys, Denial is going to take your drift hardpoint here against VQ.
Hook finished that game, what, 22-8, I believe, after what was one of the worst starts I've seen him have on a hardpoint in the longest time.
Negative for quite some time.
Positive 11, positive 4, positive 1, and positive 4. Well, positive 20 overall is Denial. They completely stepped it up in the final few hills there to take game number 1 against VQ. The chat is electric. A lot of Denial fans here. Sunder God just said, choke. That is very true. Game number 1 going over to Denial. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The second game of our second semifinals between Denial and VQ.